Hope you're absolutely having the greatest day ever on this fabulous, fabulous day. I am telling you, it is going to be an incredible show this week. It's going to be an incredible show next week. Jessie Lee Ward will be on the show. She'll be unbelievable. Who's after that, Marianne? I forgot already. So keep reading it to me. Then Dan Waldschmidt from Edgy Conversations the week after that. Then Fraser Brooks the week after that, Ray Higdon the week after that, and then Rick Manelius, Dr. Rick Manelius, and Adrian Chenault from Contact Mapping the week after that. So we are going to rip it, and we are thrilled to death that you're going to be a part of it. And here we go. The show is now. I have a big announcement for you that's pretty exciting. I am interviewing a guy who I have unbelievable respect for. His name is Mark J. And I love this guy. He's known as the world's laziest networker. And I am telling you, the reason I'm so excited is this commemorates my 30 years of sobriety. And very few people that I know have been sober over 30 years that go to AA every day and have a monster AA program. I have massive respect to that, for that, to the level that this guy is something very close to an AA sponsor of mine. In other words, I call him when the water is deep, and it's been walking down the streets of New Orleans when he's been there. It's been him all over the world when he was in Paris, France. I love this guy at a level that you won't believe. I think I laid out a few names that are going to be on my show over the next few weeks. One of them, Fraser Brooks. One of them, Eric Warre. One of them, Ray Higdon. The reason we did this lineup like this is because outside trainers are people that I have a tough time endorsing. And this is what Rob Sperry's on that list too. But the list is short. And Mark J. is on it. And he came to me via a woman named Pamela Ann Schwartz. She was the first one that gave me a rousing testimonial of him, and it's gone forward from them. Literally everybody I know, from Ken Smith to Elaine Smith down in Australia to people all over the world, have told me what a rock star this guy is. His wife, Davine, they live in Australia, in Hawaii. They are incredible, incredible people. Mark J. the show. I was channeling my inner Rod Cook. I forgot. I hate to do this to you, but Rod Cook. I don't know if you guys know, but notice my jacket. But Rod Cook is the guy that really gave, in light of this sobriety, Rod Cook got me really started in multi-level marketing. He elevated me. His health's not so good. I just got a real good picture of him, but I asked Marcy if I could post it, and she hasn't gotten back to me yet. But he looked a little bit like I tried to look today, because I'll tell you, he had those big old horn-rimmed glasses, and he wore the turtlenecks, and he had the jacket on. So I was trying to look a little bit like him and I don't know if I pulled it off or not, because I'm not very good at that stuff. But at the end of the day, Mark J., how are you, my friend?
I'm fantastic. It's a real honor to be here, and you and I both know that a lot of people that love us want to give us credit for sobriety, and we know it wasn't us. It was a power greater than ourselves, and to be part of that celebration with you and for you, it gives hope to everybody. I mean, that's just the thing. A tiny little change, which incidentally, what we learn in that program is actually, it's turned out there's a 50-year study that maybe we can talk about later.
Hit it.
That is the one thing, it's the one thing above all that will determine unilaterally the success or failure in a person's life. And so you're coming up on 30. I just turned 30 in February, so we're basically the same age. We're babies. You and I are just warming up. It's a real honor to be here, Tom. Thank you.
And you got sober in 1987, I think. Then that was in 1988. A lot of you people, Fraser Brooks wasn't even born yet. Louis Ariaza, I saw him on this stream. He wasn't even born yet. This is unbelievable. And, your wisdom and your depth toward network marketing and toward sobriety and network marketing go so hand in hand, because you have to have a culture. The culture of AA, the culture of a company and network marketing, and then you have to follow a system which you are a master at, and that's how people achieve huge results, right, Mark?
Absolutely. The main thing um, in succeeding in anything is to understand what really makes someone successful. And part of that, a huge part of that, is understanding what success means to you. It's not about other people's ideas. Don't get drawn into the cultures where you are, the moving goalposts and so forth. What's really, really important is that you define for yourself what success means to you. I mean, one of the most successful people I know in network marketing, she just wanted to make $4,500 a month so she could be home with her kids. And that was the main thing that she wanted to do with her life. And she was able to step out of the mainstream and let other people decide, when are you going to hit the next pin? When are you going to... This is a woman that wanted to be home with her kids, and she is. And this is so important in defining success for yourself, not mom, not dad, not the institutions, not the company you're with, and not even your upline. What does it really mean to you? Because when you're your authentic self, desiring what you want, knowing what you really want, that's really the first step in any walk of life, whether it's relationship, network marketing, sobriety, or working out at the gym. What do you really want? What's going to make you happy? You've got to divorce yourself from the world standards and other people's ideas. In other words, and this is a big part of the hero's journey and what we teach in the Master Key Experience, which is a 6-month course that we have that's free, basically. It's a pay-it-forward scholarship. Everybody's tuition has been paid for by the previous members, and so we've made a lot of online marketers unhappy, and that makes me quite happy. We let people determine the value for themselves. But basically what we're teaching in there is find out who you really are and what's going to make you happy, not mommy, not daddy. That doesn't mean that these people don't have your best interests at heart, but they're coming from their agenda. Who are you, and what do you really want to do with your life? And to get away from the world's ideas of what success means and to define it for yourself is going to make you happy. And when you're happy, the studies that are in now are really quite remarkable. When we're happy, everybody knows endorphins are released in our system, and that's great. But what we didn't know about endorphins is that when they're released, the learning centers fly open. Salespeople, for example, are 37% more effective. Doctors are 17% more accurate with their diagnosis. And this is just a fantastic state to be in. And what's going to make you happy isn't other people setting goals and telling you what you should be, how much volume you should have, how much you should weigh. What do you really want? So it really all starts there, Tom, as far as I'm concerned, is defining for yourself, what do you really think success and happiness is going to be for you? And it's not easy to necessarily step away from 30 or 40 years of conditioning, but it's the greatest adventure on the world. This is known as the conflict that's been written about for over 4,000 years. It's called the hero's journey. And certainly, Tom, you're one of my heroes. You stepped from the life that you knew. So did I, knocking a few back every day, and stepped into a completely different world, the unknown. And when we do that, we can find our authentic self and transform into this magnificent, dynamic, perfect, whole, harmonious, giving, nurturing, compassionate being that we are. And that shows on people like you every day. That's who you are. You found your true nature. And it's a wonderful journey to step into the hero's journey and reclaim this dynamic spirit that each of us are. Does that make sense?
So here's the deal, you guys. That makes nothing but sense. So what he's saying in a nutshell is, when I drank, and I keep going back to that, it was because I didn't like being Tom Chenault. I wanted to be Eric Worre. I wanted to be Mark J. I wanted to be Ray Higdon. I wanted to be Jordan Adler. I wanted to be Richard Brooke. I wanted to be all the great women. I wanted to be anybody but me, so I drank so I could hide from me and be more like them. And I did a terrible job like that. And when I got into multi-level marketing and I'm sober, I was still that way. And I'm trying to emulate and trying to be all those people instead of be my true authentic self. And when you break free in network marketing is when you finally find your best you inside of what you've been searching for. So I try to be the best of every one of these guys now. And I know I am a train wreck in my own way, and I finally love the train wreck that I am because I'm my best train wreck, and you are your best person too. And when you stop trying to be all of it in a bag of chips and you just get vulnerable and you get authentic and you get real with people, that's when it's going to shift. You learn all the skills from Mark and from Eric and all these people, but where the whole thing comes from is that core experience that he's talking about, where he teaches you to find your best self in all that, right, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, concerned, and I know we have different viewpoints on this, and what's really beautiful about the relationship is we love each other's viewpoint. You know, this whole thing about judging somebody else is, well, this is for people that don't think. The great Young said, thinking is difficult at first, so most people don't do it. They judge instead. And to meet someone like you that accepts all things from all people where they are, this is really a gift. The bottom line is, you know, I think that people have to come to grips with one key idea, and that is that life doesn't have any meaning. It's never had any meaning, and it'll never have any meaning. The only meaning that life is going to have is the meaning we give to it. That's it. So it shouldn't mean what mom thinks it means or dad. Does that make sense?
That's the meaning. So the meaning, what you just said is, and I guarantee you about 1% of 1% understood what you just said. The meaning of life is that it has no meaning. That's the meaning of life, is it had no meaning. And what you do, everyone, is add all that meaning onto this garbage, and that's the train wreck that we all become instead of just stand in, life has no meaning, and you get free. So, yeah, that's awesome, Mark. And you just did the landmark forum on all of them in about 5 seconds. So, yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
that's
I mean, the whole thing, the whole thing gets down to the only meaning that life is going to have. Most people waste their life, according to Joseph Campbell and these great philosophers. They're looking for the meaning of life. It doesn't have any. Yeah. The only meaning it has is what you give to it. Correct. And by finding the real authentic self, things like network marketing, you know, there aren't any magic. There's no magic out there. There's no tricks. You know, there's no magic systems. There's no social media that's going to build your business. All a bunch of baloney, you know, as far as I'm concerned. And that's okay. If other people feel another way, it's fine, you know.
Okay, so we got
to me, it's the easiest thing.
We got to take a break. So we are going to a hard break. Okay. This is hilarious, everybody. All of you people, do not go to the bathroom because the radio show has a hard break, but we just go to a fake break right now. It's more fun. So we'll be back right after this. Okay, we're back. So here we go. Come on in here, Adrian. So this is the fun part of the show because we are on Genesis Communication Network, which is a great big radio show with 550 stations blasting all over the world. But they have hard breaks. So this show airs on Saturdays, but we don't have shows that all the radio shows do because we don't have any sponsors. We're just a bunch of poor people hacking it out here in Colorado. And so I just do the commercials with my little boy, Adrian. He's 5, and he's a very big 5-year-old. Say hi to Mark J.
Hey, Mark J. We keep looking for real advertisers, but nobody's offered us any money.
No one will give. Yeah, we try to get advertisers all the time, but no one's got any dough. So Adrian is doing something called contact mapping. And any of you that know me, like I just said 2 seconds ago, with the lineup coming up with Jesse Lee Ward and with Dan Waldschmidt, going back with Ray Higdon, coming back with whomever was after that. I mean, Fraser Brooks, it's the real deal because I have great relationships. I have great relationships with Mark, with Devine, everybody, because I nurture those relationships with everything I have. I am, and somebody just put, one of Mark's friends said, I am a new connection for her. And the fact that Jen Dilks or somebody like that, and I'm kind of looking into the monitor, so I didn't look to see if that name was correct. But the fact of the matter is, yeah, we are newly connected. And connection to me isn't a little bit of the game. It's 100% of the game. And I used to keep yellow stickies. I used to keep Excel spreadsheets. I used to keep your business cards. I used to keep everything. And they were never where I needed them. And Adrian figured out how to develop an app called Contact Mapping, contactmapping.com. And what ended up coming out of that is what?
Is contact mapping. So we took what what you, Mark, and what you, Dad, and so many other people that I think have come through, some of these old school principles of the right way to build relationships, the right way to network. And it's really relationship led. It's heart led. It's really remembering things about people. And it's a dying art. And, the thing that we see all the time is that the world has shifted towards this, there's all this software that's going to, LinkedIn tells you when it's their birthday and this and that. And, we've tried to automate away the need to really care about people and remember people, but you can't automate that away. What matters is we want to connect heart to heart. We want to connect human to human. And the people who have done this for a long time, they understand that. And what we want to do is make it easier than ever for anyone to start that practice and to realize how much it not only enriches their life, but it enriches everybody around them as well.
Yeah, and Sean Murphy's down in Costa Rica, and he just pointed out that Mark J was showing us his contact mapping app.
Oh, no
but
way.
that's what we're talking about. And the reason that thing does that, nobody's better at follow-up than me. And I thought I was good at it until I got this app and realized I was about a 7 on a scale of 10, and now I'm a solid 9. And this is a 67-year-old guy that can't remember what I had for breakfast. But that app keeps me so on track. It's unbelievable. And I want you guys all to have it. Go to contactmapping.com. Get yourself on the newsletter, because we're announcing something on October 1st that is going to make your pants want to get up and dance.
How about that?
How about that? That's pretty cool. When says you go ahead and talk, and I'll look at when the break ends. Oh, it ends in 10 seconds. You're out of here.
Yeah,
all right, you're fired, Adrian.
Thanks, Mark. See you in a few minutes.
Yeah, we'll bring him back at the next break. Yeah, he's a machine. Be quiet for about 2 seconds, everybody. And we're back. It's Tom Chenault, and it is Mark J., and we are the Tom Chenault Show on the special 30-year sobriety of Tom anniversary, and I am so happy to even be alive 30 years after I quit drinking. My entire goal, I was 37 when I quit drinking, and I can vividly remember when I was 36. My parents were telling me I was in all kinds of trouble. I was getting divorced. I had 2 DUIs and 2 disturbing the pieces in 1 month. My drinking was completely out of control. And I looked somebody straight in the eye with Adrian, who was very, very young at that point, and Courtney, just about being born. She wasn't even born yet. And I looked at him and said, I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. You guys are idiots. I will be dead by the time I'm 40. And my plan was being dead by the time I was 40. That was my plan for my life, to get out of all the trouble I was in. And to think that God put his hand on my shoulder and said, you don't have to drink anymore. And the only deal I think I made with God was I made a vow to God that I will help every alcoholic that ever reaches out to me, no matter what. And I think God, without telling me that, said, okay, I'll help. I'll tell you that God has done a heck of a lot better job on his end of that deal than I had on my end of that deal. But I don't think that there's an alcoholic. I think there's a lot of you out here, and I'm going to put a post up on Saturday that talks about, I want people to tell me if I've affected their sobriety, because over 30 years, you have no idea of how many people I've been able to get to a place where they can see their drinking and see a solution on the other side of it. And it has been truly the greatest gift of my life. And as I said coming into the show, another person that is instrumental in my sobriety, 2 guys really, John Milton Fogg and the great Mark J. So Mark, thank you enough for being who you are in my life. You and your beautiful wife coming to your home in Hawaii was one of the highlights of my life. And thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's just, it's been a trip for me too. The whole thing about how it happened and all that, my story's not really important. It's just the same mission is to help anybody that ever reaches out, because that's how we keep it. We give it away. And this is really what's driven our business. This is really what's driven my passion in life. And the Master Key system that we've turned into a course, the Master Key Experience, as it really just became a quote unquote marketplace ministry for me, a place to carry a message, to live by the principles in all my affairs. That's it. This is why I was saying earlier, there aren't any tricks to building a successful network marketing business. With all due respect to all the gurus and all that, the truth is everybody already has within them everything that they could possibly need to build a very successful, based on their standards of success, network marketing business. And what it really gets down to, and this we were talking about earlier, that life doesn't have any meaning. This is where you start success in any venture. The only meaning life is going to have is the meaning that you give to it. What do you want your life to mean? What do I want my life to mean? And what Tom's done so beautifully in the really successful network marketers, I'm not talking about the tool peddlers and the people that you've never heard of. I was talking with a kid, Chris, last week. He's struggling along at about 75 grand a week. Nobody even knows he's alive. He's all about one thing: creating an environment where people can find out what they really want and helping them get it. And that's really, if you think about it, Tom, that's the program anyway, right? That's the program is, to me, sponsoring people into or sponsoring people into the program, sponsoring people into a network marketing company, sponsoring them into the Master Keys, whatever, suggesting that they check it out is really sharing an idea. There comes a responsibility with that, and that's to help them find their true self so they can create their own life, their own meaning to it, and make their own contribution inside what they're comfortable and what they're happy doing. And this has been such a great, great gift in the network marketing industry, to be able to carry the message both to people that are suffering, that it's really easy to identify with alcohol, and people that are suffering and they don't even know why. Maybe they don't have that outward self-destructive behavior, but still they're living a life, as Thoreau defined, it certainly defined me, Tom, of quiet desperation. Yeah. And to be able to start to understand that the world within, what's in our mind, creates everything. And at some point, I'd like to have that conversation here with you today, that it all starts in the mind. But the celebration is, especially in the United States, I'm not as familiar with other countries, everything can turn on a dime. And it's all about surrender.
Mark, we got to take another break. Welcome to Real Radio. Remember one thing right now: Genesis Communications Network, Ted Anderson, thank you for airing our show. We're going to take a little break. We're going to come back right after this with Mark J. on the Genesis Communication Network. And we're back. I love the breaks so much because I get to do all this goofing around. How's your beautiful wife, Mark? Is it pretty fun? Life good over there in Hawaii?
Yeah, she's a little tweaked out right now. We have about 500 people that have picked up scholarships for the Master Keys, and my wife is not geared towards that kind of whoosh and energy and people with technical problems. So she's holding up like you wouldn't believe, a real trooper. I love the juice like you. The action, it kind of pushes her over the edge. Yeah, I love your app. I can't wait to work with Pamela or whatever to learn how to use it better. I'm very excited about it.
Cool.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's pretty fun stuff. Have you ever seen my coffee cup? Can you see that on the screen?
No.
Okay, so my screen says I am a recovering alcoholic and a network marketer would you still love to have a cup of coffee with me? Because that's my coffee cup. And it's so funny because, I'm an introvert, thank God, because that helps me a ton, because no one invites me anywhere because I am the worst of all worlds. So that's my coffee cup. And nobody ever calls me for coffee. It's unbelievable. I'm going to Wichita, Kansas on Thursday. If you're in Wichita, Kansas, I'm going to be staying at the Ambassador Hotel. I'm going to sit in the lobby all day long. I've got meetings coming in. I got all my fans are going to be there. So I have one meeting. And so I have 45 slots of anybody else that wants to talk to me. But whenever I go anywhere, I just hold court. But I take that coffee cup with me and nobody ever shows up because I am a recovering alcoholic and a multi-level marketing, which is most people's worst nightmare squared. So that's pretty exciting news. And we've had an unbelievable run of the cards as far as network marketing goes over the last 30 years. And there's no greater joy in life than to have your son, who is in corporate America, living in Zurich, Switzerland with his 3 children, my 3 grandkids, decide to fly home, develop this app where he literally digitized his dad and brought it to the world. So all of you, and the reason he did it was because he could never figure out, he's a real smart kid, got a college graduation, he's went to college or something didn't even go to high school. And here's the deal. He's going, why on earth has my dad got success and I have to work so hard? He's in all the smart stuff that he does until he realized that relationships were everything. Bill Clinton, the governor of Arkansas, people said, well, you're a Rhodes Scholar. You've done all this. You've done all that. How did you, what's your biggest secret to success? And he said, none of that. What Bill Clinton did was every business card he ever got, he made sure he wrote everything about those people's lives on the back of that card. And then when he saw them again, he reminded them of what they told him when he met them. And that was his entire gift, and the whole ability to get elected over in Arkansas. I don't have any idea what it did toward his presidency, but almost everybody I know that is massively successful is a master connector. And what this kid did was built that app for that, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, you look at guys like Mark, like you, and it's easy, with some of these really successful men and women in the networking space, it looks like they must have a secret. They've got it all figured out, and I could never be like that. And the reality is that it's really a set of habits. It's really a change in your mindset and the approach that you bring to every conversation and every interaction that you have with somebody. And those are learned skills. They're not things that anybody was born with. They're not things that you were born with, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so you have, what we want to do is not just give you an app that you can carry around and that's going to help you capture this stuff. That's important, but that's not the whole picture. The whole picture is that you've got to go and you've got to listen to people like Mark. You've got to go and download the Coffee Shop Interview, and you need to understand that if you can shift that energy in the way that you carry yourself in those conversations, that's when the breakthrough really happens. And then what you owe it to yourself to do is to make sure that you have a place to capture that information about those people.
You got to go. We're back on the radio. So that's this fake commercial is over. Poor Adrian. I'm making him come out here and do this because I'm really, on October 1st, we're going to do this big deal. But we'll be back, so we're going to have to be quiet for 5 seconds here. 4, 3. And we're back. It is Tom Chenault. It is Mark J. This is the Genesis Communication Network. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for being here on my sobriety 1 day at a time, celebration. I am overjoyed with gratitude just to even have Mark J on the radio, much less on this big day for me, because he's been such a huge influence for me in my life. And I tell him this all the time. I'm not even positive he believes me. My listeners are truly true to the profession, who are not pulling people out of one company and putting them in another. This guy reeks of integrity. The list for me is really, really short, and I promise you the list for him is even shorter, of people that you can trust with your money. Lots of companies don't even allow outside trainers or speakers. Mark's one of those guys that I not only allow, but I endorse, because he can do things that I can't. and his master key experience is over the top. What he does, the hero's journey is over the top. Who he emulates and why he does it is over the top. And Mark, thank you for the contribution that you're making for this great profession. You're keeping it real. And what people don't know about you, and you should speak to a little bit, because I've got a couple sidebar conversations going on about you. Has he ever built a network marketing income in his life? And yeah, he has. It's the understatement of the year. Why don't you talk about that a little bit before you start firing up what you were going to talk about, Mark?
Yeah, we've been really blessed, multiple seven-figure earners. One of the things that Davian and I are really proud of is that Market America in '93, I was a top 50 earner there, top 10 earner at RQ. Eagles Club at Pro Step, which meant you were in the top 5. We were in the top 50 at Zango. And what's important is when we moved from deal to deal, we didn't herd people, Tom, from deal to deal, which is a big thing these days. We never did that. I didn't feel it. I didn't see the sense in building one and then cannibalizing it. So we left Market America in 97, 98, stopped building there. But true to their word, they paid us for 11 years. In 2010, we sold all of them off. We were collecting from 6. So yes, unlike the other gurus out there, look it up. We're the only ones that have not only built 7 of these to top pin level and collected from all of them simultaneously, but we also worked with a company a few years ago and drove them. We put our system in there. It's a very simple system that's counterintuitive to normal network marketing thinking, because normal network marketing thinking has produced horrific results. So before you spend your money with gurus, find out, did they actually build? Have they built multiple times? Were they able to duplicate that success? And this is what you need to be smart with your money. As Tom Big Al Schreider says, you can't stop people from hurting themselves. In 2010, we sold them all. We had an idea about standardization is the only real way to duplication. And a company adopted our system and went from about 22 million to 66 million in 10 months. Then they decided that they didn't need that system, and today they're out of business. So it's only further validation, and today we're providing all the training for a network marketing company and 2 different leaders with different network marketing companies. So yeah, we've had a lot of success. Building a successful network marketing business is probably one of the easiest things that you could possibly do. And the first way to start is stop the brain damage. Get away from your computer and go talk to people. Tom's little coffee shop thing, it's an ironic thing that I call it the 10-minute coffee, and Tom calls it the coffee shop conversation. Talk to people, because today with this technology, what's really happened for an aspiring network marketer is if you will take the time to, there was an eroding skill in our culture, which was the art of conversation, that erosion has now accelerated dramatically. And when you can learn how to talk to another human being, how to engage with them, basically what happens is you set yourself apart. And if your team sets up a culture where you're all doing it the same way, it's not Ray's way and Tom's way and Frank's way. Confusion will not commit people. You need a culture on your team. And Tom, you've done a beautiful job of creating a culture on your team. It's why you're making 7 figures a year. So the answer to the question is, yes, we have built successful network marketing organizations. We sold 4 of them. We gave 2 of them away, and 1 we just said, take us off the books, all 7, because we didn't feel it was right to represent a company and market a product to network marketers so that they could learn how to actually do it the right way. And it isn't through social media and magic tricks. It's work, which is why it's called network marketing. Easiest occupation on the planet, bar none, if you know one thing.
Okay, so I want to talk about the master key.
I hope that
first.
answers that question.
I do. And here's the deal.
Yeah.
I've got so many people that have gone through your program. And I call them on the phone and I go, listen, you got to do this, this, and this. And they go, you don't have any idea. I don't have time to do this, this, and this. And I go, why is that? And they said, because I am doing the Master Key experience. And what he's got me to is a level of integrity and activity that I don't have time to pay attention to anything else. And I said, what's that all about? And they said, it's about making me better at network marketing inside of my company. I don't have time for diversion. I don't have time for anything. I have to learn these skills so I can go teach them, and that's what Mark's teaching me. So tell people, not only is the Master Key experience free, so to speak, because you're gifting it forward with scholarships, but the second thing is it's no walk in the park.
No, so let's get down to it, and we'll probably have to go past the break. I know we got about 2 or 3 minutes here, but here's the Master Key experience. There's a book that everybody knows. It's called Think and Grow Rich, okay? It was written by Napoleon Hill. He was a hillbilly, and the question began to me once I started to really apply. See, Think and Grow Rich is not a book. It is actually an exercise, but most people think it's a book. So I was trained by W. Clement Stone. Hill was nothing until he was neither rich or famous till he met Stone. Stone trained me. So Andrew Carnegie, the richest man in the world, challenged Hill. He said, these people are dying that went from rags to riches with their secrets. He said, I want you to interview them. I'm not going to pay you anything because it'll invalidate the study. Well, Think and Grow Rich has created more millionaires than all other books combined. And I was obsessed once it started to work in my life. How did this hillbilly know what to ask these people? Turns out Carnegie, when he accepted the challenge, Hill accepted the challenge, gave him a book called The Master Key System, written by Charles Chenault. So being successful in anything in life is being the best version of yourself. And there are two worlds. Unfortunately, most people never discover the second world. That is the world within. There's the world without and the world within. Now, here's the bad news. Every circumstance in your life you created with choices that you made, yeses you gave, nos that you gave, indecision that you had. We are a result of decisions. And this takes a tough swallow, Tom, to accept it, just like when we went into the program, and we had to own that we were alcoholic and that our lives were unmanageable, okay? Surrender. So this world within creates the world without. The bad news is the circumstances in your life, if you're not pleased with them. The good news is you're creative, and by changing your thought, you'll change the conditions in your life. There's no other way to do it. Anybody, and we all know who they are, that says, you got to take massive action, set a goal and take massive action, full of crap. It doesn't work, because that massive action is being taken by the same person that made the same decisions that they have for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. So the Master Key experience is a hardcore hour a day. And if the world within creates the world without, what could possibly be more important than investing an hour a day approximately in the world within? So the Master Key experience is 26 weeks. Because of the hurricane, we've extended the deadline to this Friday. You'll be a week behind, but you can catch up. And you get the course free. You get hands-on. It's been paid for by somebody else. Partway through the course, people vote. Should we sell it or should we give it away? Continue to give it away. And if they decide to continue to give it away so other people can have the same opportunity, then they decide to pay it forward and pay other people's tuition. It's a beautiful way to do business. It's a fantastic thing. And Tommy, I modeled it right off our fantastic program that has saved my life, saved your life, and saved millions of lives.
And I think that's what happened to me, too. I think that I ended up in a conversation where basically my life is Alcoholics Anonymous with a compensation plan tied to it called network marketing. I truly believe that, because in Alcoholics Anonymous, all I really am selling is hope and sobriety. All I'm selling in network marketing is hope. People hope for something. They're either hoping to become a better them. They're hoping for better health. They're hoping for more time. They're hoping for more money. They're hoping for more friends. And I think that doing this particular profession right, you can get all of those things. And it excites me deeply that we can give that gift to people. We've got 2 minutes to the break. I don't like doing all the talking. I see John Milton Fogg joined us. We do love John Milton Fogg. He is a conversationalist at the
Aloha,
highest
John.
level. Yeah. And John, we know John. And John is good at conversation. He is a heck of an author. He's a heck of a dad. He has fought for that family out there in Virginia with everything he's got, and we've got nothing but respect for him, for Rod and Marcy Cook, for Big Al Schreiter, the pioneers in this profession. It's so exciting. And what's so cool about your life, Mark, is that you still have all those friends that you've had for years. You get to choose who you hang with. I know you've got a big affinity for Richard Brooke. He's getting ready to do his 100th radio show starting, I think, next week or something like that. Pretty cool stuff, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, we still got 1 minute.
It's fantastic. And yeah, it's really a fantastic thing. And I just, as a matter of fact, did a 1-hour piece with Richard in the upcoming Network Marketing Superhero Summit that'll be released in November. So people can have a great December, and that'll catapult them into 2019 with momentum, which is really important. It's about giving it away. We're giving away 26 multimillionaires lessons on network. We're giving that away free, which makes me feel good.
Okay, we're going to go to a fake break here in a second. Yep. We are on the Genesis Communications Network. It is unbelievably lucky we got on there. Thank you so much, Ted Anderson. I really appreciate you keeping me on your radio station all these years. We'll be back right after this. And we're back. Hey, Fogg. I bet, I saw John Fogg did come on, but his attention span's as bad and mine because he's one of us. So I guarantee you he's already gone. He's out eating bonbons or riding his motorcycle somewhere. And John, you can prove me wrong by commenting. Leslie Fieger, nice to see you on here. Obviously, Jennifer Bishop and Jen Dilks. And I just love Graham Knight. Good to see you. Roberta, good to see you. It's so great, and there's a lot of people on here, 95 people watching us live. Thousands of people will watch this throughout the day and forever and show to me because of the 30-year sobriety piece. We're going to retitle it that. And of 30-year sobriety, Adrian, what's it like being around a sober man? When I met Adrian, I met Adrian at a very young age. I feel like I've known him all his life. But, we literally had homeless people living in the house with us when we grew up. Yeah. How seriously do we take sobriety around our house?
On a level you wouldn't believe. I don't know if we have time to tell that whole story in a commercial break, but at a very young age, he had a 2-bedroom apartment. My sister, who's 4 years younger than I am, and myself, and we had bunk beds in our room, and then he had his own room. And one day we come home to his house for our weekly visit, and he goes, "Kids, I've got great news. You have your own rooms now." We're going, this is the same old 2-bedroom apartment. How's that happened? And he had moved each one of us on a little cot bed into each of the 2 walk-in closets because he had decided to adopt a drunk homeless person into our house who I had never met before.
We brought him home, and he stayed there until he died, literally. And Denise married him because not only did this guy was the greatest guy in the world. His name was Isaac. He was homeless. He was on Skid Row, and I was on the Skid Row of success. So there was no alcoholic that we couldn't relate to because I had him on I had the high-level ones, he had the low-level ones, and we just attacked them in the middle. And we had a blast, and we went everywhere chasing drunks, trying to help them get sober. And Isaac, but you have a heart for the homeless, and you have a heart for...
absolutely.
It was the greatest thing we ever did accidentally. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And we moved out of that apartment when he got married and moved into a big house, and he took over the basement and had the whole basement to himself for a number of years. And then he was my downstairs roommate when we finished the basement. I mean, it was unbelievable.
And Denise, I met and married Denise, and she didn't boot him out either, man. It was us. And Isaac, I mean, he was probably about 75, but he looked 120. And these kids taught him to rollerblade and all kinds of crazy stuff and archery. And he'd come fly, and in the middle of the night, he'd get hungry, and he would cook like literally dogs. I mean, it smelled. Remember all that food in the middle of the night? It was unbelievable. But it made us a family, and it showed us a lot about humanity.
Yeah.
And I'm about ready to cry. I miss those days, and I want all of you to do that. To do what Jesus did. Go wash some feet and go help people that that no one else will help. I mean, that's what it's all about, and that's what we're still doing to this day.
It's been a good run.
Yeah. So. He thought he was coming in for a contact mapping commercial. So www.contactmapping.com is where you want to go. Take a look at it. This kid has changed my life, given me new purpose, given me a new obsession, not just passion. Thank you, Adrian.
Yep.
We're coming back. So you're out of here. Nice commercial.
Thanks, Mark.
All right.
Thank you. Great stuff.
And we're back for the final segment of the Tom Chenault Show. Thanks for listening today. This has been an unbelievable day. We've got Mark J. with us. I love this guy. His websites are everywhere. Those of you listening, be sure to put up different websites for Mark in the comments so people understand. Put your experience with Mark in the comments so they understand. I love the fact that this guy has got the experience with earnings to go along with his wisdom and his charisma, his drive. He works all the time. He and his wife have these unbelievable events over in Hawaii that you got to get to experience. And I've been to his home. I've seen the way he works. I've seen his integrity. There's nobody like him. He is on a short list of people that I recommend because I happen to believe that anybody that goes out and spends the zero money to be involved with him is going to come out of there a better network marketer, and that's what I'm all about building. So thank you, Mark, and we've got about 10 minutes left, so fire it up and tell people what you think.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I want to talk about, three things, and I'll try to be brief here. But the first thing is with the Master Key experience, people can go to MKMMA course, opt in there, go through the videos, pay $1. So it's not really free. It's $1. Okay, that gets you registered. You can submit an application. And then the magic begins. See, one of the things we do here, Tom, we're so blessed. We have people like Lori Enrico, Jen Dilks, Cheryl Hills, and of course, like yourself, now one of our daughters is involved, Dana Marie, Mary. But people actually, to help them through this, they get hands-on help from a certified guide that's been through the course and been through 5 months of training. Now, this isn't about network marketing. This is about you being a better version of yourself, not what I think that should be, but what's already in you, everything you need. You are magnificent. You're the light of the world. You won't be the light of the world. You already are. And to be able to deduce or draw out these great gifts is so important. And we're so blessed, Tom, because we have over 70 people on our staff that are wanting to give back the same way you give back, the same way we learned from Bill Wilson and Dr. Bob, that laid that out for us. Just keep giving it away. So people go through this course and they become smarter. They become happier. They become more in touch with who they really are. Now they're setting a purpose that's authentically theirs, and we feel fantastic about that, because the first thing that they learn when they get in there is that the life that they have is a result of decision. You take a waitress that's living out of her tip jar in Southern California that wanted to be in the movies, and she left home at 18 and now she's 33. Was that one big decision? No. It was month to month, day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute, second to second decisions. And that's made in the subconscious. So in the course, people learn with effort how to reset the blueprint that's inside their mind, so their decisions still made by the subconscious are now made on their heart's desire. what they really want, because the world within really does create the world without. And then things like succeeding in network marketing, being a better husband, a better father, a better wife, a better son, a better friend, they happen effortlessly. I'm the luckiest guy on the planet. People say all the time, he's the luckiest guy on the planet, because people in here learn how to master the law of least effort. There's 3 little parts to the law of least effort, and it looks like you're doing nothing, and miraculous things are happening around you all the time. And I learned that from people like you who really get it. See, the key to succeeding begins with gratitude. That's number 1. Things work out the best for people that make the best of the way things out. 2 is think increase only, no negative thought. And 3, and Tom, you've mastered all 3 of these things, become an advocate for others. And because of Emerson's law of compensation, give more, get more, advocates start to show up for you. And that just makes it a beautiful world. So we would love to have anybody take advantage of that. It's mkmmacourse.com. You'll be a better person. You'll see through the baloney. You'll see what the genuine articles are, like Tom Chenault and his beautiful wife, Denise, and things will get easy for you if you're willing to do the work. If you're willing to do the work. And I always like to say to people, say an hour a day, I don't have time for that. Well, the world within creates the world without. If you don't have the time to do it right, when do you think you'll have the time to do it over, right? So that's sort of my homage to what it's done for me in my life. It's let me bring my passion to the world. And because of the incredible generosity of other human beings, including our remarkable guides, Brenda Buck, I mean, it's Dan and Gigi from Wisconsin, Luke from France, Klaus from Sweden. It's from all over the world, people just pouring, giving more, and helping people navigate the pathway to their authentic self, just like you and I found it, Tommy, both about 30 years ago. And what a remarkable, remarkable break for me and you. It's
unbelievable.
Just amazing.
If you don't have time to do it right, when are you going to have time to do it over? Write that down for me, somebody, so I can I need to get that as a tattoo. Because I am going to tell you one thing right now. I hear that is the most profound quote of the day. If you don't have time to do it right, when are you going to have time to do it over? And that is haunting. It is true. It's been Mark J. This guy is unbelievable. Next week, Jesse Lee Ward. Mark, can't thank you enough for coming on this show. I love you with all of my heart. You are a rock star. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll see you all next week on the Tom Chenault Show.